What is a neurophysiologist? So what is neurophysiology? A neurophysiologist is a scientist that studies the nervous system of our body. And the nervous system is made up of our brain and our spinal cord. Luca, did you have your hand up?
It was pretty silly because like he wasn't putting it in his mind. He just ate it. The robot just ate his own brain.
Isn't that silly? He just needs to put it in his head, right? So the nervous system is made up of our brain and our spinal cord, okay? And that's what neurophysiologists study. So let's learn more about our brains. Andrea?
We'll show more about this. So let's learn more about our brain. Our brain helps us control all the movements of our body through electric signaling. So there are many parts of a brain, but there is actually a very special region of our brain that will help us with movement. So we're going to learn more about that part and what it's called and how it can work with our brain. Now, we do have a question. How does our brain talk to our muscles to make them move? See, Luca's hand is up.
The neurons connect to send the message through the brain, and then it sends it like through the body.
So how does the brain talk to our muscles? How do the neurons talk to our muscles to make them move? Dekai, do you have your hand up? No? You're just waving at us. All right, no worries, because we're going to learn all about it. So how does the brain talk to our muscles to make them move? And Luca is exactly right, through neurons and also through synapses. So neurons are nerve cells that are in the brain and they send messages all over our body, okay? And synapses, do you guys remember that word? I think you guys learned all about synapses last semester. Synapses are found at the top and the bottom of neurons. And it's a small space between neurons. And they allow messages to travel from neuron to neuron. So that's how the body gets signals from the brain and moves. Couple last things. We're going to talk about subconscious versus conscious. Does anybody know what your subconscious is? Can anybody tell me what your subconscious is? Izzy?
Are you talking about the conscious or subconscious?
Subconscious.
I don't know what a subconscious is, but I only know what a conscious is.
Do you want to tell us what that is? That's the second thing we were going to learn.
A conscious is like I don't know how to explain it. Like when you you like hear a voice like no, not to do it or yes to do it, but you make the decision.
Exactly. You make the decision, right? So you're conscious. When you make a conscious decision, it's when you have to think about something, right? So you might think, I like eating cookies, so I want a cookie, and you'll go to your cupboard and you'll grab a cookie, right? Subconscious is when you don't think about something. I am so impressed with you guys. Those answers were really, really, really amazing. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about the homunculus that we talked about yesterday. Andrea, would you like to, or would you like me to?
I would love to take care of the homunculus. Oh, such a hard word, homunculus.
You're saying it great.
Ooh, you guys gotta say it after me. Homunculus. Homunculus.
Homunculus.
Homunculus.
Yeah, Anna, good job. Sophia, I heard you too. Good job, guys.
So homunculus is a great way for us to picture how our brain works. So we learned yesterday, the body is not really a representation of how the brain proportions all the amount of skin in your mind, right? You're built in proportion to the amount brain focuses so much of its energy and sections into that. Enough about that. We need to go to our very special guest for today. So who is our special guest?
I think I'm gonna have to let her lead, you know. She's here and she's a special guest. She should have the floor. So with that,
I love it. I can go ahead and share my screen as well. Also, it sounds like we already have some future brain scientists here. And I love that. Allison, I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm. I might be out of a job one day. You might just have to come and work in my lab. Or maybe you'll have your own lab one day. Wow, there's so many possibilities. I love it. We're going to get into a little bit more about neurophysiology. And I'm going to start with a question. How does our brain send signals to our body? Now, to answer that question, Isabel, you already have an idea. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
The neurons.
Neurons. Yes. Oh, that's such a good answer. It is the neurons. And we're going to talk about exactly how that works. So raise your hand if you have heard the word electricity before or know what electricity is. Electricity. Who can tell us what electricity is? All right, take it away. Or who was it? Was it Isabel? Isabel, can you tell us what electricity is?
It's like signals that I don't know how to explain it, but it's like signals that holds
Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe. The last class said the word power. And is that might be the word that you're thinking of, huh? Power. Yes, exactly. I love it. Ellie, did you want to add to that?
It's like a form of form of energy, I guess.
Energy, yes. Good. I love that. I love these words. We're looking at signal, we're looking at energy. What sort of things have electricity? Yeah, Sophia.
Devices.
Devices, our phones, what you're using right now. The lights in our rooms, right? In our houses. Cortex. So like we were talking about, the cortex has the sensory cortex and the motor cortex and a whole lot of other cortices, lots of cortexes. And the cortex is the very part on the outside of your brain. So do you see all of these squiggles and all of the different lines and sections of the outer part of the brain? You guys all see that? So every squiggly line and every section connects to a different part of the body. So it's like storing all of the information. Have any of you guys seen the movie Inside Out? Inside Out, where, do you remember there's the part where you look out and all of Riley's memories are stored in the little balls, and then you look outside and there's a million of them, all as far as the eye can see. And that's essentially what the cortex is the cortex is what's storing all of your information. And the reason why we have all of the squiggly lines in our brain is because the squiggly lines allow us to hold in more information. So it's packing as much information as we can into our head, because that's the only amount, that's the space that we have. So we're just going to keep squishing it all in so we can get packing all the information that we can. Yeah, what questions do you guys have about the cortex? Allison, you had a question?
No, it's just that I kind of wanted to share some facts about the brain that I know.
Ooh, let's hear it.
So one thing I know is that the brain is made of 60% fat, and then the other 40% is made of salt, protein, and water.
Wow. I
also know that the brain weighs 3 pounds.
Yes, the brain is pretty heavy. One time I actually was able to hold a human brain in my hands one time. I held it in my hands and it was pretty heavy. I would say it was about 3 pounds. So nice job. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna keep going, and I'm gonna, before I get there, one of the ways that we measure our brain electricity, our brain signals, is by a thing called electroencephalography. And the easy part of remembering this is this first part, electro, because electro just means electricity. And that's how we know that the brain has electric signals that it sends out. But we are going to make it a little bit easier. And are you guys okay with it if I use a different word to talk about electroencephalography? Can we make it a little bit easier? Okay, perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and say EEG. And so EEG is what's measuring the brain electricity. And do you see all of the squiggles, all of these lines on my screen that are kind of moving up and down, all the waves? So this is an example of EEG and what it shows us if we're looking at it on a computer, looking at how EEG waves are created by the brain.
It is almost time, guys. It's time to end for today, but do not worry. We will be back on Thursday, February 29th for more Wonder Kids fun. Above all, though, give a big round of applause for Miss Riley for teaching us all about the brains and her works with baby brains.